UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley is just around the corner. I'm here to give you my predictions for each fight of this night. Starting off first with Vanessa Demopoulos, I don't know how to say her last name, versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Now, this is a low, very, very low level WMMA fights, but I'm very confident on my pick on Jamie Lynn Horth. I think she's a better striker. She has better wrestling, better grappling. Vanessa Demopoulos, a few, maybe like 5+ years ago, she probably could have submitted you. She probably would have gave Jamie Lynn some trouble. But at this point of her career, she's been missing weight. She's been complaining about glove grabbing while literally being submitted, by the way, which is the highlights, what she's known for now. And I just don't think her skills that she has displayed in her last few years, definitely just no, she's not gonna get it done against a faster, I would say younger, but it's only by a year, but definitely faster, way taller. I mean, her reach is kind of unfair if you think about it. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jamie Lynn Horth by decision. And actually, me saying that, I just want to put out there that I actually could see Jamie Lynn Horth finishing Vanessa. I know it's crazy to say. I know level WMMA fight, no power, I get it. But Vanessa gets countered a lot. Really, she really does get countered a lot, and I really wouldn't be surprised if Jamie Lynn hits her with the perfect counter and just sleeps her. I know it's crazy to say, but I literally wouldn't even be surprised. Moving on to the next fight of the night, Rowe versus Ange Loosa. I'm gonna be real with you guys. All these fights, most of these fights are actually 50-50. These fights are very, very close, and this is gonna be it's gonna be a night that it's either gonna go very, very well for predictors, or it's gonna go very, very bad. It's not gonna be no in between on this card. And this is one of those fights that is 50-50, and I think I'm gonna go with Rowe. I think Rowe is just gonna take advantage of his height, his insane reach, against Ange Loosa. Don't get me wrong, Ange Loosa has the takedown threat, I get it, and all that stuff, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that for 3 rounds in a row. I think Rowe can definitely pick off round 1. He does start off very, very good. His rounds, every single round 1, I'm pretty sure he's won round 1 against Neil Magny, Jake Matthews. He always, for some reason, wins round 1. You always can count on him winning round 1. Now, after round 1 is where it gets tricky, and he just needs to win 1. I'm gonna bank on Rowe just to use his reach, his kicks, his jab. He's actually very strong in the clinch, so I can see him hanging with Ange Loosa in the clinch too against the cage. So yeah, I'm gonna go Rowe by decision. Moving on to Ricky Simón versus Cameron Smotherman. Now, this is a tricky one because Smotherman has picked this fight on short notice. I'm pretty sure it's like a week or 2. I don't really know the exact amount or how long he took that short notice fight on, but this is a very risky fight. I know he has a lot of time. He can take a risk like this, but for this fight prediction, I'm gonna just have to go with Ricky Simón, man, especially the knockout that we just saw against Javid or Havid Bashara. I don't know how to say his name. Ricky Simón, that looked absolutely amazing. Cameron Smotherman, Jesus Christ, Cameron Smotherman just lost to Sergey Siddi by unanimous decision literally a month ago. I'm not even joking. Literally a month ago, he didn't look that good. I know Ricky Simón wasn't on a 3-fight losing streak before he beat Javid Basharat, but you guys have to understand that 3-5 losing streak. I'm gonna tell you the names. Jesus Christ, Song Yadong, Mario Bautista, Vinicius Oliveira. These are no joke. They give him 3 demons, literally back to back to back, And I think Ricky Simone has definitely more experience than Cameron Smotherman. He has seen more styles than Cameron Smotherman. I'm gonna give Ricky Simone the decision here. I'm gonna go with Ricky Simone by decision. Moving on to Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. Oh man, look, this is another fight that's very, very interesting because Jose Ochoa, he lost his debut. He lost his debut against Loner Kavanagh. I don't know if I said that right. His debut, he lost it. He didn't get absolutely destroyed, but he definitely lost by unanimous decision. No robberies, no nothing. But Cody Durden, you know, he has the experience under his belt. The problem with Cody Durden is that he's the type of guy to just lose to young up and comers. And I know Jose Ochoa just lost his UFC debut. I completely understand, but it's one of those fights that you have to pick Jose Ochoa. He's the up and comer. I feel like he went up against a very good fighter on Lonir Kavanagh. He's undefeated. And I just feel like Jose Ochoa will definitely, I don't know, I can just see Jose Ochoa beating Cody Durden in a strike. And I know, again, it sounds kind of disrespectful because we haven't seen Jose Ochoa, like, you know, we haven't seen really his skill level because he only has one fight. I'm not going to judge him on his regional scene fights because, you know, that doesn't, at this point, we know that regional fighters doesn't really mean much at this point. This fight, I'm just going to go Jose Ochoa. This is a very, very risky pick here, and it's crazy because he's actually Jose Ochoa is actually the favorite, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, Jose Ochoa by decision in my opinion. Moving on to Malcolm Wellmaker versus Moutinho. Man, oh man, I mean this is the easiest fight to pick of this on this card, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, Malcolm Wellmaker, his counter ability is amazing. The man has power, dynamite in his hands. And Kris Moutinho, look, since he lost to Sean O'Malley, he has went on a run. But the problem with that is he has been on a run outside of the UFC. And I just can't give credit. I just can't I can't hold a lot of weight on that because we've seen fighters from other promotions come to the UFC recently and just a shit show. Let's just be real. So I think I'm going to pick Malcolm Wellmaker to knock out Kris Moutinho in the first round. In the first, that's gonna be my pick. I'm gonna go by KO, but I think it's gonna happen in the first round. It could happen in the second, it could happen in the third, but I'm going with the first freaking round KO. Malcolm freaking Wellmaker. Moving on to Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. Oh my Jesus Christ, dude! This is the battle of the freaking unks. Literally, the battle of the battle of the unks, man. You know, this fight is definitely 50-50. This is just the battle of the unks. I mean, what else can I say? Low level unk fight, I guess. I could definitely see Michael Chiesa submitting Court McGee. I mean, I don't really have much to say on this fight, man. These are just two old ass men going at it. But I think I'm going to go with Michael Chiesa. I did pick Court McGee before I decided to go with Michael Chiesa just now. I just changed my mind, believe it or not. I just changed my mind. I think Michael Chiesa, with the little striking he has on the feet, he can somehow use that to get a takedown. I don't know. This is just the battle of the unks, man. I mean, what can I say, bro? Anything can happen in this fight. Someone might break a leg or something. I'm just gonna go Michael Chiesa via decision, but I could see a submission, to be honest. But I'm gonna go Michael Chiesa decision. Moving on to Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. This fight is another easy fight for me to pick, to be honest. I'm going to go with Rodolfo Bellato. I'm not going to lie to you, man. That Paul Craig fight, Paul Craig versus Bo Nickal, it's not looking good for Paul Craig, man. It really isn't looking good for Paul Craig. especially what the Ritter did to Bo Nickel. Paul Craig is very, very hittable. The only threat Paul Craig has is to submit Rodolfo Bellato, and I just don't see that happening. I feel like if Bo Nickel can touch you, I think Rodolfo Bellato can definitely touch you. So I'm gonna go with Rodolfo Bellato I'm gonna go by KO in the first round. I'm gonna go KO in the first round. Moving on to Alonzo Menifield versus Oumar Zai. I don't know if I pronounced that name correctly. It sounds like it just looks very hard to pronounce, but this is an interesting one because Alonzo Menifield is the moderate underdog on this fight, and Oumar is the heavy favorite. Oumar has 2 fights in the UFC. He had a unanimous decision over Dan Woon Jung and a rear naked choke against Tuco Tucos. But Alonzo Menifield obviously has the experience over the young buck over here. But one thing that we've seen throughout the UFC is that momentum and prospects always prosper. And I'm always gonna go with the young buck with the momentum. I know Talbot just got freaking fraud checked recently, but that happens rarely. That really happens rarely. Oumar is 29 years old. Alonzo Menifield is 37. I know he just got a win over Julius Walker, or not a win. I mean, he did get a win, but it was a split decision. It could have gone either way. And he also just 2 fights ago he got knocked out by Azam Murzakanov, which is that's nothing bad, because that's Azam Murzakanov we're talking about. That man will put lights out on anybody. But if one thing history has taught me is always go with the prospect, with the momentum. So I'm gonna pick Sai by KO. I'm just gonna go by KO. I don't know what round is gonna happen, but I think it's gonna be by KO. Moving on to Cody Brundage versus Mansur Abdul-Malik. I mean, do I even have to say anything? Do I really have to say what the outcome of this fight is going to be? This is the Francis Ngannou of the middleweight division. Like, literally, he's the copy and paste of Francis Ngannou. Just pure swinging, no technique. But no man that has lost to Bo Nickel, I'm gonna pick over Mansur Abdul-Malik. I'm gonna just say that right now. I'm gonna just pick Abdul-Malik by KO in the first round. I know Cody Brundage has been in the UFC for how long has he been in the UFC for a few years now. 4 years. He's fought Bo Nickel. I'm pretty sure he slept Zach Reese. He actually just TKO'd Julian Marquez. But giving him the edge in a decision against Mansur Abdul-Malik, him trying to survive 3 rounds, I don't think that's possible. Especially with how wild Mansur Abdul-Malik is. I think something weird will just catch him and make him go to sleep, in my opinion. Moving on to Cody Garbrandt versus Rhino Barcelos, the man himself, the guy that just fraud checked Peyton Talbot. But I feel like this guy's being overhyped. He's even the favorite against Cody Garbrandt. I know Cody Garbrandt has been, getting knocked out. Has been getting knocked out by freaking Kai Car France and submitted by Davidson Figueiredo. I understand. But let's not get to the point that we're gonna disrespect Cody Garbrandt and acting like he's actually gonna lose against Rhino Barcelos. I mean, the man is old as shit, dude. Just because Talbot lost to this guy doesn't mean Cody Garbrandt is worse than Peyton Talbot, okay? Talbot just had freaking hype behind him. Cody Garbrandt at least is a former champion, okay? Let's just not bring that disrespect here. I'm going to go with Cody Garbrandt, and I think he's going to be able to KO Rhino Barcelos. That's going to be my pick. Cody Garbrandt by KO. Moving on to Edmund Shabazan versus Andre Petrovsky. Now, this is going to be a very good striking match to see. Oh man, this is a 50-50 fight in my opinion, man. This really is. Under Petrovsky, you know, he's in a 3-5 win streak. Edmund Shabazan just KO'd Dylan Budka 3 months ago. He did lose via triangle to Gerald Merchart, which, you know, he gave a little trouble to Rainy the Ritter. You know, we can give him that, you know. It's not such a bad loss, you know. So the thing is, man, I really could see Edmund Shabazan catching Andrew Petrovsky, and I think that's what's gonna happen in this fight, dude. I know, dude. I know. This is another close fight. This is what I'm saying, man. This could either go very, very bad or very, very good. There's no in between with this freaking card. But I'm just gonna go with my feelings, with my gut, and I'm just gonna pick Edmund Shabazan by KO. I don't know what round, but it's definitely gonna be by KO. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening: Rosa Namajunas versus Miranda freaking Maverick. Now, I'm actually surprised that Rosa Namajunas is actually she's the moderate favorite on this fight, but I get it because I mean Miranda Maverick has literally fought low-level fighters. I mean, literally her last fight was Jamie Lynn Horth, which is starting the card for this fight. So that tells you all you need to hear. But I mean, she's 27 years old. She's just starting her career. Rosa Namajunas, she's 32 years old. Her last fight was 7 months ago. She lost her last fight by unanimous decision against Erin Blanchfield. She did win against Tracy Cortez and Amanda Ribas by unanimous decision, but you know, it really hasn't been looking good though. You know, it hasn't been looking good. She did lose against Manon Farrat by unanimous decision. She got submitted by Gillian Robertson in a freaking grappling match. I know this is like 2022. She lost to Kaz Parza to lose the belt. I get it, but she hasn't really been. She did fight 2 times last year, and she won both of them, but it was against freaking Tracy Cortez and Amanda Ribas, you know. So like, I understand the matchmaking on this fight. It looks like Rosa Namajunas, you know, she's not at the top of her game anymore. We have an up and coming here. And I feel like this fight is literally just set up for Miranda Maverick to have a name in her resume. And I really think, you know, they're trying to do Rosa Namajunas dirty a little bit, you know, giving an uppercomer, 27 years. I mean, she's literally 27 years old. You know, she's brand new. I'm not saying brand new to the sport, but she's very, very young. But I just feel like Rosa Namajunas experience is going to carry her on this fight. I feel like Miranda Maverick has fought too many cans, and they haven't really give her good competition to prepare for this fight. So I'm going to go Rosa Namajunas by decision. You know, typical. I'm going to go Rosa Namajunas by decision. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Now, if you haven't freaking subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't liked this prediction video, make sure you like the video, man. It really does help out this small channel, and I would appreciate it, and it's free. Now this is the fight that we are pretty much, you know, looking forward to. But you know, the more I thought about it, the harder it is to pick this fight or you know, predict this fight, because there's just too many variables to pick, man. Too many variables to look at and just form my freaking prediction. Like, I understand that, you know, we haven't seen Usman in two years. You know, his ring rust is gonna be a real thing. But how are the knees? You know, that's a real, like, a lot of people, you know, joke around with that, but like, really, how are the freaking knees of Kamaru Usman? The strength is, I don't think Joaquin Buckley is gonna like overpower Kamaru Usman, but I feel like Joaquin Buckley at this point of his career is definitely more physicality wise. I will definitely give it to Joaquin Buckley, but not by like an exceeding amount that's gonna be like the major thing for this fight. the problem for this fight is the stand up, right? I understand that Kamaru Usman has a legendary jab that can, he also has good kicks, but his jab is the major, the why it's in spotlight, right? That's what basically makes Usman stand out, is his absolutely devastating jab, because that jab is like a is low-key like a power punch. It's kind of crazy how strong that jab is. But the problem with that is Joaquin Buckley's head movement into an explosive strike. I'm really worried for that, because Kamaru Usman can he's always gonna have that jab, right? But that jab is like the perfect way for Joaquin Buckley to just sneak in a freaking power bomb out of nowhere. I'm really worried for that, man. I really am. The wrestling, I feel like Kamaru Usman is gonna have the advantage over it. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be such an advantage that Joaquin Buckley is going to have to worry about that. And for Usman taking down Joaquin Buckley, I feel like it's going to be very, very hard, because Joaquin Buckley has insanely good takedown defense, man. So I believe this fight is mostly going to stay on the feet. And that's where it gets interesting, man. Because, like, look, I said Joaquin Buckley is going to KO Kamaru Usman in this fight back when it was announced, and I still believe it. My pick is going to be Joaquin Buckley by KO. I know we haven't really seen Kamaru Usman get obliterated on the feet, and I mean striking wise. I'm not talking about that lucky ass head kick that Leon Dogshit Edwards through on that fight. And I'm not even mad. I'm not a Kamaru Usman fan. I'm just saying that was lucky, and I'm not even a fan of both or whatever. But look, I feel like Joaquin Buckley can get it done. Especially, I feel like he's gonna be able to get that bomb off with his head movement when Kamaru Usman is throwing the jab. And you know, when Kamaru Usman is throwing that jab, and he just keeps throwing it out. He throws the jab, and then he throws like feints with it. I feel like that's going to be the moment Joaquin Buckley is going to explode with a shot and just drop Kamaru Usman. I don't see Kamaru Usman going out cold, but I could definitely see him getting hurt and then getting TKO'd, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's going to be my pick for Kamaru Usman versus Buckley. It's going to be Buckley by KO. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like. Also, I'm just going to put it out there. I have like a 76% pick rate, so my pick rate is looking absolutely amazing right now. But yeah, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my live when I'm, live watching this fight. So you can come over and, yap with me for 7 hours. But with that being said, I'll see everyone very, very soon. Goodbye.